Pulling to the spot like Phil Collins sang it. Fresh new fade with the mustache banging. I know you want to know where the fuck I'm from.
Check it out real quick. Episode 16 with Chuy Gomez. Chuy, everybody probably wants to know. I don't know if you've been on any podcast that ask these questions, but where'd you grow up at?
I grew up in it's funny. I grew up in San Francisco because when we first got here from Mexico, we landed in San Francisco. So I grew up in San Francisco from about kindergarten, which is about 5, till about 6th grade, which makes it about 13 years old, maybe younger, 12. And then we moved out to South San Francisco, and I've been in South City in the peninsula the rest of my life. I've just been in South City. I was in San Bruno for a little bit, but between San Francisco and South San Francisco.
All right, that's dope. So your family actually came from Mexico?
Yeah, they're from Jalisco, and my dad was here first, and then he sent for me and my mom, and me and my mom came out.
That's tight. That's tight. Is your parents still around?
Well, lost my dad about 2 years ago. My mom's still with us, and we live like 4 doors from each other.
Oh, that's tight. That's tight.
Real tight.
So do you ever go back and visit? Rest in peace to your pops.
Thank you. Yes.
Do you guys ever go back and visit Mexico?
We used to go yearly, like almost every year, because in August in our small town called Mezcala, they have the fiestas from August about 18th through the 23rd, 24th. We used to go yearly. And I stopped going a while back, but this year it's funny. I'm going, but not for the fiestas because back in the day we used to start school after Labor Day. Yeah. Now school starts like in June, July, early July, and I'm like, can't really go. So what I'm doing is I'm taking my daughters to Mexico for the first time in like 7 years. They were there when they were younger, and now they're 13 and 15. And so we're gonna go back to Mexico in August. It's gonna be dope. That's tight. Ain't been there in a while.
All right. So when you was growing up and so you pretty much grew up in Frisco, right?
Right. Basically the Bay Area, San Francisco, South City.
So you want to share any kind of experiences? Like, I would like if you could share some experiences, like how was it when you started going to junior high school, and like what kind of group did you hang around with?
Oh, it was funny. The Bay Area has been very diverse, period.
Yeah.
Especially for us out in San Francisco area. Like, we have Polynesians, which is the Samoans and Tongans that we hang out with. Mm-hmm. We hang out with the blacks. There's a few blacks from the neighborhood. The area where I grew up at, though, was predominantly Latino. So most of my homies that were clicked up were mostly Mexicans from different parts of Mexico. Some from Las Animas, some from Jalisco, some from Michoacan. So, but we all clicked up, and it was real cool. Never really joined a gang because music was my therapy and my off the street stuff.
That's right.
Yeah.
I always wanted to know, like, where is Chuy Gomez is from the Bay Area? How did he survive growing up in the Bay Area? Where did he hang out with? What did he do?
Well, music was my savior. It's like I grew up listening to music at an early age with my mom making me request songs for her on the radio, and so I would request songs for her. Then I got introduced to radio, fell on radio. Used to walk around with a boombox. Everywhere I went, there was a Chuy in his boombox.
That's right.
Walk around my boombox, and then I started DJing house parties, and from house parties started doing hall parties where you go to the quinceañeras and other stuff. But I didn't really hang out in the streets. I had a bunch of cousins that gangbanged, and it's funny because I had cousins that gangbanged in South City, and then Daly City, and then I had some from the city. So it was funny that they would funk, even though they were family. But I never really banged.
Yeah. So you was actually into music before you got into KMEL.
Oh, way before that.
Okay, so that's how you got. Okay,
yeah.
So tell us how you walk us into KMEL. I know you started.
Well, I started at KSOL. Yeah, but I was already in radio because I started in radio like almost immediately out of high school. So when I was in high school, we had a DJ group, and it went through a couple of names. I think it was Music Patrol. Then Music Patrol became Little Man Productions because I'm little. And so we had Little Man Productions. And then after that, we had another crew. And then it just was Chuy Gomez. But early on, I was DJing, like I said, house parties and stuff. And I met this guy, Marcos Gutierrez, who at the time was you're probably old enough to remember Marcos. Do you remember Marcos? Mm-hmm. No? Anyways, he was a DJ on KSOL, 107.7 KSOL. Marcos Gutierrez, he was a friend of a friend.
Yeah,
I
that
met
sounds
him.
familiar when you say it like that on the radio.
Marcos, it's your Marcos from Northern Califas on 107.7 KSOL. So he was the DJ, and he was a Chicano, and he used to speak that Spanglish, and he saw me kind of doing not what he was doing, but similar that can go between English and Spanish pretty well on the mic at a friend's quinceañera. And I said, damas y caballeros, señor la hora del vals, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be doing the waltz a little bit, hang tight. And he's like, yo, you kind of spit that fire back and forth. And so he asked me to come hang out with him at the radio station. So I met him through Tony Silva, who was his neighbor. And then I started hanging out with Marcos. And then me and Tony became his DJs. When he would get hired to do a wedding or a quinceañera or a grand opening, we'd be the DJs. He'd show up, do the wave, sign the autographs, and leave us DJing. And so we used to DJ with Marcos, and he got me to start working at the radio station. Said, yo, the only way to get on is to get on. So we have a in-house marketing, so go get a job. So my job was to make phone calls, calling people about market research for the radio station. And then I get to hang out with him, take requests, and help him with the music. And so that's how it started at KSOL. So then I got hired at KSOL. I was at KSOL before KSOL became...
What year was you was in KSOL?
That was about 88, 89. And then KSOL became Wild 107. And then I was there through that transition. I was working with Mancow at the time. So me and Mancow, I was doing the morning show, but I was doing everything else. I was doing the Friday night club, the Saturday night street party. I was doing the Sunday night oldies on KSOL Wild. And then I was doing the morning show with Mancow. And then we stopped traffic on the bridge about 92. That put us all on the map, brought attention to Wild 107. It's like, who are these guys? What's going on?
Oh, so you guys are the first ones that started that thing.
Yeah, we were the first ones to really start that monstrous event, stopping traffic on the bridge. And then right about then, I was about to have my son. And I was asking them, yo, can I get a raise or can I get benefits? Because I'm about to have a son. Before it was just me. I don't care. I'm making money.
Right.
I'm living at my mama's house. I care. It's just free money, basically. And so then I was about to have a son. And I asked them, they said, we can't do nothing for you. And coincidentally, at that time, a program director over at KMEL had just come and offered me a job. And I met with him. And when I met him, he slipped me a little piece of paper. This is what we're offering. I'm like, oh, shit. And I went back to Wild 107, Wild 107. And I said to them, I said, yo, this is what they're offering me. Can you match it? Or can you at least give me one of the two, either the money they're going to pay me or the benefits? We can't do nothing. We can't do it. I'm like, oh, shit. At that point, I decided to leave. And that's when I went to KMEL. And that's when my situation started KMEL about 93. Because my son was born in 92. So a year later, about that, right about when he was being born, I started working at KMEL. And I was at KMEL from 93 to like 2003. I was there for 20 years.
Yeah. So when did the Sunday Night Oldies start? Was that on?
That started way back on Wild 94.9 because there's a guy named Rick Thomas. Rick Thomas here, he was doing cruising with Rico. But he was the program director. He didn't have time. So he said to me, he goes, do you want to start doing the oldies? I'm like, sure. I didn't really know much about oldies at the time because I was into freestyle and soul. And I heard oldies and I knew oldies, but I didn't know all the oldies. And so he goes, no, don't worry about it. We'll give you the music. You just do the oldies, take the dedication. I'm like, all right, cool. And so I started doing that. And it was different for me because, out here, we don't have Art LeBeau. So I wasn't familiar about the dedications and all that stuff. Right. So I was doing my own thing. Yeah. And so I started doing the oldies. And then when I left Wild 107, that's when I think Big Daddy Victor Saragosa started doing it. After him, Javier got it for a while. And then later on, after Javier left, I think Tony Sandoval started doing them. And then when Tony Sandoval,
I remember hearing
the station changed and they couldn't do oldies on that station. There was no oldies in the Bay Area. And so I said to myself, well, we got to bring this back. And so at that time, I don't even think I was KMEL. I think at that time I was at Hot 105.7. And I brought the oldies back because nobody was doing oldies. And I just started doing them and kept doing them. So when I left Hot 105.7 and I left to Q102, I brought them with me. And then I was doing them on Q102 and then they fired me. And then so I just said, well, I'm going to just put them on CMC. So now I've been doing them on CMC for the past 5 years or so. I've been doing oldies on CMC. And they asked me, why don't you bring them over to 102 Jams? I said, because if I get fired at 102, I just have to put them back on CMC.
Yeah.
And people flip-flop and try to find the oldies. Like a pain in the butt. So
that's funny. You're naming all these radio stations, and I never knew that you were bouncing around. We just followed your voice. Oh, here he is, and okay, tune into this station.
Right.
Yeah, back
then. But
I
didn't really bounce because I was at KMO for 20 years. So I didn't really bounce till they didn't want to give me benefits. Like I would have stayed I would have stayed at KSOL while 107 there, but they didn't offer me.
Yeah.
Then when I was at KMO, I was there, and then they fired me, and there was really no reason. I think it was just budget cuts. So when I left there, I just had to find another job. And so that's when I ended up at Hot 105.7.
Yeah. So with the oldies, you remember any moments that stood out with people calling and asking for dedications and stuff like that?
The ones that stand out the most is, when you shout out somebody whose parents have died or whose daughter or son have died, those hit you harder.
Right.
Because, it's like you're trying to do a dedication, but it's trying to be heartfelt.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because they're going through something heavy, but you also want to try and turn their sadness into a little bit of happiness. So you ask them, what was their favorite song? Instead of crying and thinking about my son is gone, what did he bounce around the house with? Like when you played oldies, what he did? Oh, I'm your puppet. Oh, he likes sitting in the park. He used to sing Mr. Postman. And so you play something that's going to bring him a happy memory.
Yeah.
So that's what I try to do.
That's a real dedication right there.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So it brings you to a happier place. Not what was he playing when he was sad? You don't bring those kind of feelings out.
Yeah, you're right. Man, I didn't think about that, but man, that's a good strategy right there.
Yeah, you got to. Because we all go through stuff. And my whole thing while doing radio, my whole career has always been turn your frown upside down is what I tell people. It's like, because, you might be going through some stuff, whether it's a sore tooth or your girl just broke up with you or your son was in an accident and you got some shit in your head and you turn on the radio and Chuy's on and he says something silly or he just says something or played a song that just put a smile on your face. I just turn your frown upside down. So I've done my job.
Right.
And like I said, I can't target every single person, but if I can touch a few people that are going through it and then all of a sudden they feel better because they got Chuy on, then I'm done my job.
Right. Did you ever, I'm sure you got a lot of dedications for people being locked up, stuff like that.
Yeah, those were real heavy. Initially, and it's funny that you said that because my brother always gets mad. He's like, why are you always shouting out the jails? Why don't you shout out the kids that go to college? I said, because these guys, it's a breath of fresh air. Like they don't, like even with CMC, when I was on CMC, and we used to be on Channel 26, we were in all the jails. San Quentin, Rita, Pelican, all the YAs watched us. And so when Chuy would play videos, it would be a piece of home. Right. And they get a little piece of home for an hour. Yeah. And so these guys would fight to get to watch CMC during chow time. See what I'm saying? Yeah. So when I was doing the oldies, I thought about that as well. It's like, I don't know if these guys get the radio all day long. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But if they're calling to make a dedication, it's because they're listening. Yeah. So let me shout out to Goofy, who's locked up, man. Like I was thinking about you. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. Right. Or, hey, what's up to Sammy, who's over there, blah, 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 because the homies are holding you down, bro. They're thinking about you. Right. And it's like, when you hear your name, it just, hey, that's my name, bro.
Yeah, it gives you a little motivation.
Right. Motivation that makes you happy. It's like, oh, they're thinking about me. You're no longer by yourself. And so when I used to do those dedications, my brother used to be like, why are you always shouting out the jail? That's so negative. It's not negative, bro. You're bringing them light. Yeah. It is negative, but, we also shout out the kids that just graduated. Shout out the class of 2024. SF State. We got some more Chicanos out here doing it big. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta take the good and the bad. But, like I said, the ones that are doing hard, feel it more. Need it more.
Yeah, I hear you. So when you're doing all that, man, I know you had to have some interactions with some stars. You want to talk about what's the most popularest person you ran into?
Oh, Ice Cube, because I was such a fan. So when I interviewed Ice Cube, that was just like dope, bro.
Where'd you see him at?
He came to the radio station.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Because at the radio station, what they do is they line up artists, especially if there's a concert coming to town or they're in town to promote a movie or something. They'll bring them to you. So I got a chance to interview everybody from Janet Jackson, Rihanna, Ice Cube, Busta Rhymes, you name it. Like I was at KMO for 20 years, so I interviewed tons of people.
Man, that's badass.
And the most memorable for me was Ice Cube because I was such a fan.
What year was that?
I interviewed him several times, but the first time was probably 94, maybe 95.
Damn, that's in the heart of it, right?
Right. You know, when everything's popping, Boys in the Hood, all that. You know what I'm saying? He had a.
That was exciting.
Yeah. You know, I've been doing radio for a long time. I've been doing this since like 88, 89. So I've seen a lot of things happen.
So what do you think about Ice Cube? From what you remember, how was his personality?
Oh, he was dope. He was, you know, straight up dude. The one that was a trip that, you know, I always talk about, Busta Rhymes, was just such a pissy interview. He came in with an attitude. All he wanted to do was promote an album, and he didn't want to talk about nothing else. You ask him something, yo, my album Elements of blah 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 is out. Okay, well, what about these shoes, bro? I see you got these fresh shoes. Oh yeah, my new album comes out. I'm not like, bro, you're not helping me out here. And so that was a pain in the ass. But he actually was a nice guy. It's just he was on a mission. He wanted to get the word out about his album. Boom, boom, boom. And so I get what he was doing, but he was helping me do what I wanted to do.
Wasn't he on one of the Michael Myers?
Was he? I don't know. I don't watch horror movies.
Oh no! Hey, just note that Chuy Gomez don't like the scary movies.
I do like what was the Pinhead? The one with the pin face. Hellraisers. Those were my movies. Hellraisers. Those, yes. But I never watched like the Friday the 13th, the Jasons, the
Michael Myers,
Nightmare on Elm Street. None of those. I watched none of those.
Oh, so you probably like The Shining then?
I watched The Shining. Yes, I did. I like that. That was good.
Yeah. My son said the new one they did is pretty good.
I don't know. I haven't seen it. I seen Carrie. That was a good one too.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. Yeah. Okay, the gory ones, the ones that had like
a
little story to them.
Like those other ones. Those others didn't seem to have a story. They never pulled me in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, shit. I was into Friday 13th and Michael Myers and shit, but I was into all of those movies though at the same time.
Yeah.
Especially Hellraiser. Oh man, that shit was a trip. I couldn't believe what I was watching. Like, what the fuck is this shit?
Yo, it's crazy to believe that that thing came out of a little box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They needed, man, that's some real scary shit right there. If you look at that, man, that was like, where'd they get that from? It's like I really thought I was going into a different dimension when I was watching that shit.
With the movie, it took you there, bro. Yeah. You almost felt like you was in that thing.
Hell yeah. So man, far as Ice Cube, Busta Rhymes. What about Janet Jackson?
Janet Jackson's sweetheart, super nice lady.
Did she ever mention anything about her brother in your interview?
Never really went there because it was about her. And when you interview somebody, even though they're related to somebody super famous, you don't like. It's like I'm gonna bring up another story. My brother, I bring my brother up a lot. My brother used to get mad when he used to say, "Oh, you're Chuy's brother." No, I'm Hugo. Like it's the same way. Like if I said to Janet Jackson, "Oh, you're Michael's little sister," she's like, "No, I'm Janet Jackson." You know what I'm saying? So you kind of
that's how she feels.
Well, I'm sure that's how she feels.
I heard it was kind of like a little like they weren't that fond of each other. Like I know they loved each other, right?
Yeah, but they ended up doing a song together later in life. Remember they had that black and white video, and I know we played the hell out of it on CMC. And but they got along later. I know that maybe early on they had funk. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like I said, I didn't want to ask her about her brother when it was about her.
Right. I hear you. So you said you had a kid right around the 90s, the early 90s?
My son Darius.
Is it by the same wife you're with now?
No, that was with another lady. Me and her were together for probably 10, 12 years. Okay. And then we weren't together, and then I was by myself for a while. Then I met this other lady who I'm with right now, my wife. And then we had two kids.
What year did you meet her?
My wife now? I tease her all the time because I said, "What did we meet about 7 years ago?" She said, "Fool, our kids are 13. How did we meet 7 years ago?" So I don't know. I think we've been together probably close to 18 years now. But my daughters are 13 and 15. So yeah, we've been together about 18 years. Probably.
So you got two girls from her?
2 little girls, yeah.
So how'd you guys meet?
It's funny. So there's a girl that was in radio. Her name was Drina. She was having a going away party. And I said, let me just say, we weren't on the same station or nothing, but, radio's a small community. So I said, let me go say peace out since she's moving away. Mm-hmm. So I went to her going away party at this place in Frisco. And I met her because she was there. She was a friend of Drina's cousin. And she was just joining Drina. She was just joining Drina's cousin at the party because her cousin didn't want to go by herself. So she's sitting at the bar, just sitting there. And I just approached her. So I met her at a going away party.
So you just walked up to her and it was that smooth?
No, it wasn't. Nothing's ever that smooth. You walk over and you spit your game and you holler and.
What was your game? What was your game back then, Chuy?
I said, hey, you over here by yourself? You're at a party. Why you sitting at the bar? I said, come on, come mingle with some people. Can I sit here and talk to you? And she's like, all right, you can sit here and talk to me. So we sparked up a conversation.
You guys same age?
No, hell no. She's about 10 years younger than me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's a win. So this is off the wall question and stuff, but I'm sure you follow social media and you there's a Southern rapper down south goes by the name of Lefty Gunplay. Have you heard of him?
I just seen his name on something. I don't really follow a lot of the current rappers. Period.
Yeah.
Just because the past few years, 6-7 years, I've been in a throwback station, and there's no need for me to really stay current and relevant. Yeah. So I really don't follow. But I seen the name. I just saw the name on. I guess Kevin, some guy Kevin just interviewed him. But go ahead.
The reason why I brought him up is because he in one of his recent interviews he mentioned something about he has a daughter and he would never let his daughter come home with the black man. How do you feel about that?
I said, that's a Southern California mentality.
Because you being with the black woman and stuff,
my son's mom is black too. Yeah. But you get with who you fall in love with,
right?
You know what I'm saying, and he's gonna fuck around and find out one day and talk to it may not be a black person, maybe an Asian person, but he's thinking I'm gonna stay true to my culture. I'm gonna just date only Latina women or whatever. That's fine. I mean, to each his own.
Yeah.
But I don't really pay that no mind unless it affects mine.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So if my daughter says, I don't want to date nobody but black men, I mean, like, give everybody a chance. Why would you just say I want to date a black man only?
Yeah.
And my son's dated a lot of different girls, not just black girls, and he's half black himself. So I never put that on them, and I never showed them that either.
Right on. My opinion about that, I just think the guy's impulsive. I don't think he means that. I just think he just doesn't realize the cameras, some things ain't going to be deleted,
Well, that's the problem with this, society nowadays. Everything's on camera. Yeah. Everybody's on their phone, and at any given time, you can see a conversation being over there, and you just silently record it. And next thing you know, it's like, yo, I thought I was just talking to Mister.
That was my thought.
Next thing, right? That was my thought. That's just a conversation on some bullshit. And all of a sudden, I'm being labeled for this.
Yeah, I'm not standing on that.
And I'm standing on that. That's just a bullshit conversation we were having. But somebody recorded it.
Yeah.
And it's not even just a camera. You got cameras in buildings that are recording at all times. And some asshole will take something they heard or hear you say and be like, look, that's his thought on this.
Yeah.
No, that was because of the heat of the moment,
and they want to define you on that.
They want to define you on that, put you on that. Nah.
Well, I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I got into a deep thought when I heard that shit. I didn't think. I'm not talking about that Southern California, that Northern shit. All that. I'm not talking about that. You know what I mean? I just I put some thought into it as far as a parent, because I have a daughter, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, and I have a granddaughter, so I'm like, why? I put myself in his shoes. Like, would I ever think like that? Fuck no. If the dude's a nice guy, I don't give a fuck what he is.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so I really believe deep down in my heart that dude, that was an impulsive thing he said and stuff.
No, but that's the thoughts of a lot of folks, because I know my dad wasn't happy when I brought home a black girl the first time. And it's funny because some people are just old that way. And once we had my son, and he fell in love with my son, but he also fell in love with their family. And their family was like our family. We did everything together, vacations and everything. And so he started finding similarities. He started finding, these are nice people. Why am I not liking them? So he changed his mind. And some people just haven't been exposed to the right situation or the right person. Because in every race, there's assholes. You got asshole Chicanos, you got asshole Asians, you got asshole whites, you know what I'm saying? So you got assholes and everything that give you a bad taste, but you can't just generalize and put everybody in the same umbrella.
I agree. And I think that's why there's assholes and there's good people and nice people, is to let you know that it don't matter what color you are. This is how you judge people, is by what
they stand on.
Yeah, the vibe they give you and all that stuff, And yeah, man, I agree with that. But hey, how about E40? You ever came across E40?
I'm actually introducing them tomorrow at the Alameda County Fair.
That's right.
I've known 40 since early 40. Right after Captain Savo, I knew Kevin Dixon, the guy that played Captain Save-No in the video. I know his sister, Sugar T, his brother, D-Shot. I know the family. I mean, and, you know, growing up in the Bay and, like I said, interviewing all these artists, you get to know some of them. Yeah. And some of them you get to know a little bit better than others. Yeah. But I've known 40 for a long time.
Remember his song, Top of the Line Wine, Carlos Rossi? Uh-huh. That shit was slapping back then. I have a black homie. He used to buy that whole fucking gallon of Carlos Rossi. Yeah. I think it was like a lime one or whatever, but it was kind of like tinted, kind of green. And he would mix that shit with Sprite in a glass like it was a mixed drink, man. Yeah.
Anything to get dosed up.
That was in like 91, 92. We were sipping wine.
Yeah, I'm surprised you weren't drinking that was it Night Train?
No, I heard of that. Night Train. I was more of to be honest with you, I didn't really start drinking beer till I turned like 19, almost 20. And I started, sipping on beer. But before that, it was just like Boone's, Strawberry Hill.
Oh, yeah, Boone's, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like the taste of beer at first. I was like,
I've never liked beer. The only beer I ever drank that I thought was okay was Mickey's, the green.
Yeah, Mickey's is fresh.
I like Mickey's. Taste, I don't know, it got a nice taste, but other than that, I didn't even start drinking until I was like 30. Like it was all about me and a big 2-liter Coca-Cola. When I was DJing, I bring a Coca-Cola because I never knew if they were gonna have Pepsi or Sprite or some other shit. But I drank Coke. So I used to bring a 2-liter Coke to every gig I used to do. And then later on, when I got later on in 30 years old, I started drinking on the little Midori sours. And those are fruity and soft and, doing daiquiris. And so that was my introduction to alcohol. And now I just drink straight tequila on the rocks.
Yeah. What about, I heard tequila's pretty healthy for you. If you sip it just straight on the rocks.
But that's how I drink it, just either straight by itself.
Well, I know it has like less calories like that,
That's why I drink it.
What about Mr. Fab?
Mr. Fab, he actually performed at my son's 12-year-old birthday party.
Is that right? That's tight.
I had him come out to my son's. I think it was 12. Yeah. So yeah, I've known Fab for a long time too.
The reason why I bring him up, because we're about to drop a song in the video with him. Me and my homie Benny. Oh, okay. Benny Blanco, the one that does my videos. Yeah. So I'm gonna see how that goes and stuff. I never met him personally and stuff.
Nice guy, super nice guy.
Yeah, Benny always talks good about him.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
How about Be Legit?
Oh, Be Legit, sweetheart, super nice guy.
Is he related to 40?
Cousins.
They're cousins, right? Yeah. I remember just hearing them growing up and stuff.
Yeah, super nice guy. Real quiet. Comes to the parties, hangs out, drinking his beer, chilling, enjoying the music.
Yeah. That's dope. Man, what some Sacramento artists and stuff. I know they didn't make it that big and stuff. Like, like what about Sibo?
I don't know Sibo. I've never met Sibo. I know his music, but I don't know him.
Yeah, they didn't get too big, huh? Like
he did well.
I mean, he got really big, popular and stuff like that, but he didn't get like E40 in them and stuff like that.
No, but then there's a few guys that never made it quite as big as E40 and Too Short.
Why do you think that is? Because they had the same quality of music. I mean, not the same exact style, but
because that was the beauty.
They were both tight.
That was the beauty of the '90s. That everybody had a different style. So when you listen to Too Short, it sounds different than E40. Sounds different than Rappin' Forte. Sounds different than Mac Mall. Sounds different than Selsky. So a lot of these guys is just not the right exposure, not the right amount of catalog. Maybe they didn't have as much music.
You think it has something to do with like the streets he was talking about? Like it was too gangster?
It could have, but then, because at any time, E40's had stuff that's been on the radio that was gang related, but he also had stuff that you could sing along to. And sometimes these guys don't understand that in order to make it to popular culture, you got to do some popular type stuff. You know what I'm saying?
So I think that's what helped E40.
Right. That's what helped a lot of these guys. Yeah. Made songs that were singable or they had a nice beat.
Yeah, you got to just take yourself out of your element and entertain
the masses.
Yeah.
Not just the block. Yeah. Not just, certain gangsters.
I'm barely starting to think like that. I'm like,
you got to open up, bro.
Nobody wants to listen to this shit, So I grew up just trying to impress my own, and now I'm just like, wait a minute.
But then that's great because you got a foundation. Mm-hmm. So that's your following and that's who you're catering to. But when you start opening up and let's say, for instance, you did a song and you said, oh, I'm going to try a song with Trish Toledo. You get Trish Toledo singing on the hook instead of some dude rapping about a hook.
Right.
Now you got girls singing your hook. They may not know what you're spitting about.
Right.
But the song has a catchy beat and they're singing the little part that Trish sings.
Right.
It becomes cool.
Yeah.
And that's how a lot of even the Biggie records, the girls may not know what he's rapping about or may not follow the rap, but they're singing the little catchy parts.
Right. Yeah.
And the beat is knocking.
Yeah. You're right about that. How about Rapping Forte?
He's around. He's around still. I ran into him about 2 years ago.
I met the dude about like 6 years ago at a Denny's here in San Jose.
Mm-hmm.
And he looked like he was on a weekend, like he was going on one. Like
he goes back and forth, but so does San Quinn. You know, it's like, you know, they get really, really on one, and then they come down, and then they're good. But they've been going up and down. I know Forte had some bad years. He's looking healthy now. When I saw him about 2 years ago, he looked healthy.
You know, other people look at it different, but when I look at, like when I seen him in real life, I was like, man, this is a real motherfucker. Like he's not just an entertainer. He's out here really going through the ups and downs.
Oh,
you know
that's
what I mean?
life. That's life. And
Yeah.
it's like too many times we put artists on a certain plateau or on a certain status, or you just remember them from a certain song.
Mhm.
And that's how you want to remember them. But if you got like Mac Dre, like I knew him because his ex-roommate, right when he got out of jail, his ex-roommate was one of my best friends, Bijan. And he introduced me to Mac Dre, and we was hanging out, and we go to, you know, go eat or just go ride around in his Mercedes G-Wagon or just go to a fight or to the movies, and just a down-to-earth dude. And you're like,
Mac Dre?
Yeah. You don't want to, you know, he was not fizzed out all the time.
Yeah.
Just a regular dude.
Yeah.
But, you know, you imagine him just doing the fizz dance and always, no.
Yeah. See, some people, I get what you're saying, because some fans and some sort of like followers and stuff get disappointed when they see somebody, you know, when they see a downfall or you know, they see something and they expect it different, you know, because that's, like you said, it's a song that they used to listen to or whatever, and they wanted him to be like that, you know.
Trials and tribulations of life, bro. We all go through them.
Yeah.
We all go through them.
And that's a good point you brought up, because, you know, people try to maintain a certain image all the time, and that gets like, that kind of fucks your vision.
That gets heavy too, though. Trying to maintain a certain image gets heavy, and it weighs heavy on your shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it's like yourself. Like if you're out there and you always want to portray a big tough dude, you'll never let the sensitive side out.
Yeah,
because you're too busy doing this. But it's also hurting you because you're trying to keep this persona up.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, so you got to break down and let your shoulders loose, bro.
Yeah. No, you're right. You know, but you know, like you said, trials and tribulations and stuff.
It
is.
is.
Some things, it's kind of hard to let your guard down. You know what I mean? For certain things and certain situations. So
well, you can't let your guard down all the time because you know you always got to keep your eyes open. And
but you walk in a good spot, man. You'll see. You know, like you'll feel it. And,
you'll feel energy.
Yeah, and
everything's about energy.
And there's no need to have your guard up. But you don't have that problem, man. You walk in everywhere and have a good.
Because I've never really created funk for myself.
Yeah,
I've never took a side. Like I said, my cousins used to bang, but I can go from Daly City to San Francisco to San Jose to Oakland and never have a problem. Yeah. And I've always, you know, shown love and gotten love. So it's been beautiful.
You know, it's true, man. I mean, you know, you gotta live and learn. And I'm starting to realize, like, the energy you put out is what you're gonna get back. Mm-hmm. So I mean, how you expect to get everything good if you're just putting out bad? And I'm like, well, if you think like, wait, this ain't bad, this ain't. Well, it might not look like it's bad, but it could be influencing others to be bad. You know.
But it's also a lot of times it's a circle you keep.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's the circle that, you know, you did something soft, so now you're gay. Nah, bro, that's what I felt, bro. It's like, you know, we aren't the same. We're not the same person. We don't carry the same DNA, bro. Yeah. I'm a little bit different, and that touched me a little differently. Like, you know, you saw a cat get run over, you cry. Yeah. So I'm like, somebody else is laughing. It's like, come on, bro, be sensitive, bro. That's a cat. Just got killed. Just got run over. There's guts there. You're looking at that's just funny. So everybody sees things differently. And so you just gotta, you know, I mean, I'm not gonna down you for laughing because that's how you feel. Yeah. I can't make you feel the way I feel because that's how I feel. I felt a connection to the poor cat that just died.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Or, you know, like you says, you know, some people are still trying to entertain a certain circle.
Right. But
that's, you know, like, man, you got to think outside the box.
Think out the box.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, and there's some, and another point you make is like people think you're soft. It's like somebody's like with social media these days, if somebody like voices their opinion about you, it's like, well, that doesn't mean I'm gonna go out there in public and publicly voice my grievance. You know what I mean? Because that's just gonna make me look like, you know, to me, it's gonna go against my character.
But everything isn't. You don't need to fight every fight. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And everybody's got a fucking opinion though.
Right.
And it's like, oh, that dude can't rap.
Yeah.
his beats are whack.
Yeah.
Oh, that dude's too old to rap.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody's got a fucking opinion. Let me live my life.
Yeah.
Obviously, somebody likes my shit. So, because,
Yeah.
yo, I'm going to show you some sales, bro. I'm selling this amount of merch, this amount of records, bro. Somebody likes me.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not buying it myself. So it's like, you know, just let motherfuckers be who they want to be.
Yeah, the critics are going to be there. And
Oh,
stuff.
they're always going to be there, bro.
Yeah. You get that with that?
Always.
You know, like throughout your years? and
Always,
stuff?
man.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? Oh, you don't have a good voice for radio. Oh, you're a sucker. Oh, man, why you go hang out with them?
Oh, yeah, all that?
Bro, relax, bro. I mean,
so that means people are actually engaged with you, and it's kind of like having a relationship that you don't even of with people you never met,
right?
And so they're expecting more out of you.
Some do, some don't. But then again, you know, the beauty of this is that I've been in TV, on CMC, and on radio, and I've become a lot of people's uncle. So it's like funny. People run up to me and be like, bro, I watched you more than I watched my dad. I was with you every day after school because I used to watch CMC, bro. Or I'd be at home doing homework and you were doing the 9 o'clock beat, or you were doing Pump It or Dump It, and you was hanging out, and you just got me through some rough times where I couldn't talk to my mom, couldn't talk to my sister. I hated my brother. And so it's crazy the way I've touched certain people that I've never met in life, but I've touched them. And that's kind of the way it is sometimes. And it's like, there's also people that hate. It's like, well, why do they like him?
Right.
What did he do?
Right.
You don't even know that dude. You like him. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you don't have to like me, but don't tell them not to like me because they like me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and I can't address that because I don't know either one of you guys.
Yeah.
If we met, you probably like me because I'm a good dude.
Right.
But just on just your mentality, you're already going against yourself because you don't want to like me for whatever reason you don't want to like me.
Yeah.
I talked to one of your girlfriends, or you saw me, you know, at a rival's lowrider car show, or you know, I was at Big Mister's party, but you don't like Big Mister. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, he was hanging out with him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
it's like people hate for no reason.
Right.
What is the reason? And so you just gotta let them be.
You know, yeah, you gotta like you said, pick your battles and focus on what you're gonna focus on, and whatever you focus on is what's gonna grow. Like recently I started, you know what? Like I had to learn to like focus on the positive. And like you said, there's gonna be people who like you and there's gonna be people who dislike you. But if you focus on the people who like you, that's what's going to grow. You're going to see, and you're going to feel good, and you're going to be more confident. You're going to be more motivated. You're not going to be like held back by the haters, you know, replying back to haters. Because if you weigh out the good with the good always outweighs the bad, you know. And I'm like, I got like three dudes in there saying this and that, and there's like 1,400 fucking likes. I don't give a fuck about those dudes.
You shouldn't.
And if you focus on those, something's wrong with you. You know what I mean?
You're focused on the little pigs. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, but then you also got to think about it because there's some dudes that are just scrolling through, you know, Instagram or Facebook or X or whatever, and they're just going to talk shit to talk shit.
Right.
Not necessarily, they may not even heard your music or may have not even seen some of your artwork or anything, and they're just going to talk shit. Oh, that's weak ass hand styles.
Yeah.
Nobody asked you for opinion.
Yeah.
But you're going to give it to me?
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Just gotta focus on you, bro. This is my hand styles, bro. I'm selling freaking 10,000 shirts with my hand styles, bro. Somebody likes this bullshit.
You can't please everybody.
You cannot, and you can't focus on that, bro. Just like you said, count your blessings, not what you don't have. Count your blessings.
Yeah, because
you know, I'm above ground. All my limbs work, bro. There's dudes that are happy as shit with no legs.
Right. And when you look at it like that, that's the best way to look at it. Like, come on now, man. You
look
woke
at
up
it
today.
Come on, bro. You woke up.
You can breathe. There's people who can't see that sky. Go look at it.
There's guys with one eye.
Right.
That see half the picture. Yeah. But love that half of the picture they see.
Yeah. How old are you, Chuy?
54, 55. I was born in 69, so I don't want to do the math.
Yeah. Nah, man. It's a trip to have you right here because I remember just being like a juvenile and just hearing your voice and stuff like that, and I never thought I'd see my future sitting down and interviewing Chuy Gomez. Right.
See what I'm
now,
saying?
man.
And see, that's what I'm saying. It's like you and I, even though you and I have had a relationship now for a while because I liked your shit, and I hit you on the gram. Like, I don't know you, but I liked your shit. I wanted to buy one of your hats or something. I think it was a T-shirt or hat or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But we sparked up a conversation. But regardless, it's like I touched you before you even knew me.
Yeah.
And that's the magic that I've lived.
And it was a trip to have you at my house. I could hear every time you talk, I'm like, I can't believe his voice is right here. It's like you could just hear that voice. It's so distinguished. You know what I mean? And you stole the show when you went to my house. Everybody was taking pictures with you.
It was your birthday, and I'm taking pictures. Yeah. No. But I tell the people that all the time. It's like,
no, my birthday and my son's graduation.
Right. That we did both of them.
Yeah.
So, but it was crazy because like sometimes when I do these events, I tell people, you may not want to have me. I says, not that I don't want to do it. It's just, this is your wedding. I don't want to take away from your special day. But I always dreamt that if I got married, I was going to have Chuy DJ my wedding. And I'll go and I try to stay low key, but they're like, Chuy, you got to let them know you're here. All right, cool. Well, I get on the mic and all of a sudden there's a bunch of people there at the DJ booth. Oh, snap. I want to take a picture of you. I listened to you all my life, or I watched you all my life, or whatever. And it's like, or you get the other people like, I don't know who you are, but everybody's taking a picture with you and I want to take a picture with you too.
Yeah.
And that's dope too. But it's like, I tell people, it's like, I love to DJ. I love to be at your parties. I love to do all that stuff. And it's like, but also keep in mind, I might take a little shine away sometimes,
Yeah. No, I'm gonna share a story with you when you were DJing over there at what's that Mexican restaurant that's no longer there downtown San Jose?
Chacho's.
Chacho's. Okay, yeah. So we're there at Chacho's, and me and my wife were kind of hungover, and we're there with somebody else, a couple other people, and it was just we're just kind of like dragging our leg around, and there was somebody else DJing, and then when you got back there and you grabbed the DJ, you played songs back to back with the energy just had us like floating. So I was like, I got to get that dude in the backyard.
Because see, for me, it's funny. I get in my own zone and I play stuff and I read a room. So I see a bunch of the homies and I see a couple of young ladies and I play some stuff that's going to bring that energy where I say, okay, well, they look like they're about 30, 40 years old. They're going to want to hear this. So I get into a zone. I start playing certain shit. And so that's part of reading the room, which a lot of DJs don't do because now all they do is they look at the computer and they're trying to see what beat matches with what bait and what's going to connect. And you got to have a connection with the people, not with the music.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I hear you.
And so being at Chacho's, it was a big Chicano crowd. So you start seeing them, it's like, they probably want to hear some more bounce or they want to hear, Lala means I love you. Or if I play Suavecito, it's like, all right, cool. Now you get a different vibe. The energy changed a little bit in the room.
Hell yeah. Now what you played was smooth. I can't forget, but it wasn't high tone oldies. It was smooth, like right, perfect, because we were kind of like on a down,
Right.
And it just kept us moving, just had us floating the rest of the day, man.
That's cool. That's magic.
Another question I wanted to ask you. You mentioned about your pops was a little in disbelief about about being with a black woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would you admit that Mexicans are racist too down in Mexico?
Most, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of them are. Yeah,
most.
Yeah. So with that being said, that because I remember growing up and I see different podcasts and some of these guys that are in gangs and they blame it on that they got treated wrong because they didn't speak English. Well, the way I seen it is they were being bullies also. You know what I mean? If they had a chance, they would bully you if you didn't speak Spanish. So I remember going through that. So it was vice versa.
It goes both ways.
So I think like I could admit it. I did it too. You know what I mean? But I didn't introduce this self. I didn't create this. I seen it.
Right.
Because I grew up going to the Mexican stores with my grandma. She spoke Spanish, but I didn't. But I would get in the same schools, all Mexicans. I was getting treated a little different.
Yeah, but that was part of at my house. My parents wanted us to speak Spanish in the house.
Yeah. Where
some of the other families and that was real big in San Jose because I had cousins in San Jose where their parents didn't want them to speak English. They didn't want to speak Spanish. They wanted them to speak English so they could pick up the language.
Right.
So it's like you come home, háblame en inglés. I want to learn. And then at my house, my mom's like, no, I'm not going to understand you speaking to me in English. You speak to me in Spanish.
Yeah.
I want to know what you're saying to me.
Yeah.
And so in our house, we always kept that. And so it was a little different. But I knew friends whose parents said, do not speak Spanish. You need to engulf yourself in English, learn that language. And
well, I said this before. A lot of people don't realize this and they forgot, but I remember clearly that the reason why my parents and like my grandparents didn't speak Spanish to us because they sent home letters saying there's not that many Spanish speaking teachers, so we can't have you guys try to speak to your kids in English. So that's why like they were trying to. Otherwise, we're not going to learn. Because if we don't know the language, how are we going to understand what this teacher's saying?
Yeah, but that's school though. You learn.
So, but my grandparents, I remember they took that to their advantage and stuff because they would never speak. When they were talking in private, it was only
Spanish.
And they was like, the fuck they talking about, man? And we never picked up on shit, but little things,
Yeah, you just pick up the bad words.
How to order some food, how to cuss.
Yeah, how to cuss and how to get burritos.
Yeah.
And maybe some chile verde.
Sí, cebolla.
Some chile verde, some cebollas. Yeah, no, but it's funny because I've always taken pride that my Spanish is not the best, but it gets me through, and I speak both of them pretty well. Yeah. I could do.
Trip out on this. My mom's younger sister was her husband, is obviously from Mexico, and his parents are from Mexico. So my first cousin is my little cousin. He speaks fluent Spanish, and I don't.
It's what you're being surrounded by.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, come on, man. Like, you trying to say he's more Mexican than me? Like that's my mom's little fucking.
He's not more Mexican.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
He's just brought up differently, man. Take yourself. Go take your ass to Mexico for a year, bro. You'll learn some Espanol.
Yeah.
You'll be forced to it.
I wish I knew
You'll be forced to it.
Yeah, I'm going to pick up on it, though, man. It ain't too late.
Hang out with the paisas more, bro.
Yeah, I got like one of my best friends is from Mexico City. He barely spoke any English. He passed away, though. I embraced him like a brother,
Yeah,
Matter of fact, his son we adopted his son since he passed away, But one of them, well, he has 3 sons, but one, like, they're all kind of like separated. But 2 of them came like on Father's Day, but I guess they, because their dad's not around, and I'm like the next best thing.
That's dope.
So yeah, they spent Father's Day with me, and we went out, for some barbecue and stuff.
Nice.
But yeah, man, I embrace my culture to the fullest, like, just because I don't speak it.
Just because you don't speak doesn't mean you're less.
I bet you I know more dishes than a lot of you.
It's all right, man.
Yeah. Man, thank you for coming on, man. Any other shout outs you want to give out? About to close this up.
No, man. Just thank you guys for allowing me to be in your homes and in your faces and in your ears all these years. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook. On Instagram, it's at Chuy Gomez. On Facebook, it's at Chuy Gomez. My fan page on Facebook is funny. It's El Chulo del Radio. Facebook.com/El Chulo del Radio. That's me. And so,
what does that mean?
The good-looking guy from radio.
Yeah.
I'm El Chulo.
Yeah.
The good-looking one.
Yeah, don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Big Mr. Official. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And again, follow Chuy Gomez. He's available for events.
Everything.
All events. If you need a DJ, just make sure you let him know so he's not confused of what kind of music you want.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it, man. We're out.